I'm George Licker, American.
We had been working on the boards for, it's called Man's Best Friend, I think, the first show of the second season that never got aired. John pitches this idea. We do the boards. They get approved. And I go, wait, what? I get him alone in a room. He's never lied to me. I go, John, are you sure they've approved this board? And he goes, yeah, they did it.
Now come on, boys! Attack! But you are my kind and beloved master! I can't! But I can!
Man's Best Friend. I don't like it. It was extremely violent.
Oh! No! It's discipline that begets love. Ouch!
Nickelodeon is making an investment in kids programming.
You must learn your place.
And I have to say, when we saw it, I was just like, I mean, it is up there with Samuel Beckett. It's one of the best things ever made, but it's not for kids.
The executives at Nickelodeon thought George is mean. He said, absolutely not. But he thinks he's doing you good.
Today's lesson is discipline. Now, in order to learn discipline, you must learn to misbehave. Now, you see this over here? This is a couch. Now, a couch...
After he tells him, don't get on the couch, he says, well, what are you waiting for? Get up on the couch.
Come on, make me mad. Make me mad or I'm gonna be really mad. What did I tell you about sitting on my couch? Are you
It's twisted logic. It's logic of authority figures. It's my dad. George Licker is the first character that ever just popped into my head instantly, and I knew almost everything about him. He's a moral, God-fearing man who believes in being tough. Tough love. That's what it is. It's tough love.
That's a good boy. It's discipline that begets love.
In the cartoon, you take real life emotions and you exaggerate them. I identify with almost all the characters, and I try to put something into them that I feel myself. George Licker, I don't identify with personally, but I identify with having to yield to authority.
He called me to give me feedback on my notes that I was giving him. And he said that I could go fuck myself, that he wasn't going to take notes anymore, that he made the network, and he is the star.
He sent a note to the network saying I can no longer be held responsible for budgets or deadlines. Sorry. When I read that, I was like, oh my God. And I got the biggest marker I had, and I drew a giant pair of balls on his door. Because, like, clearly he had the biggest ones in Hollywood.
We failed at working together after that. It just failed. You know, I'm going to do whatever I want to do, and it's going to cost you whatever it costs. And as an executive for a company that, you know, I was beholden to, it didn't work that, it doesn't work that way. And I just walk down the hall and tell Jerry Laybourne that I had an out-of-control train and that I had an episode I couldn't air, and I had, you know, outlaw artists on Ren and Stimpy, which I loved, but it was hard.
They approached me and they said, look, we want you to finish the show.
People within my studio, and were plotting behind Spumco to start a new studio and take it over.
The network was talking to me about it and saying, you know, we don't know if we're gonna have to fire John or not. We're gonna have to close the studio, and I'm trying to talk him out of it and everything.
Bob was smelling blood, and he's like, yeah, fuck John, you know, he's abandoned his duties, dereliction of duty, you know. When, you know, we do it without him, you know, he started talking in that way.
Nickelodeon, behind my back, would tell them, you're the backbone of the show, you're the brains. We don't need John, and we'll triple your salary.
Everybody was angry, and I told them that I had talked to John.
I was shocked. I said, if you do this, you're gonna be right back where you were before Spumco, where you have no creative say, and you're screwing all the people who built this up. But they went because they thought of the glory. Oh boy, now I'll be the big cheese. Even though I'd made everybody, all the top people, big cheeses, but not big enough.
I remember the final conversation with him, and he was just like, please, you know, don't do this. And I said, I can't not do this. We have to do this. You're the one who created it. You created this mess, we didn't. And he denied it, but there was no choice.
Actually, he called me. Yeah, he said, guess what? I've been fired. And he actually said this. I'm actually kind of relieved.
It was really sad. I was crying. John was almost crying. We gathered everybody into one big room and said, we have to give you guys 2 weeks notice. We don't have any more money. They're not paying us anymore. So it was horrible.
The hardest thing really was just the fact that we were having so much fun and doing such great work that it was a real shame that it had to stop.
The artist had to make a decision about stay with John or come with May and Nickelodeon and produce a games production. We created a new studio in about 3 weeks. We put it together.
And it was just Bob saying, you know, you have a job if you want it. You know, he would say to a lot of people. He said, you know, Bob, I'm not going to games. And what? Traitor, fucking traitor. You know, he's all in my face, spitting mad, you know, like. And then Vincent, you know, he's like, whoa. He's like, I'm not going either. He's like, what?
It was devastating. It was horrible. And I knew that it would make me look bad in some ways, but I knew I had to do it, you know, because otherwise the show would die. Or worse, they would give it to someone who would candy coat it and make it into something that wasn't what it should have been. John and I were the best of friends, and I haven't seen him since that day in 1992, and I don't know if I ever will again.
You know, it was burnt. Who wouldn't be burnt? You build something over years and years, and it's taken away overnight for somebody else to build something. These are characters that you develop for years, that you love. You're losing your kids, basically.
It broke my heart. I loved the characters. They were my babies. It just was a car accident for me. And I struggled. I really, really struggled.
We really did try to make the most we could out of a very unhappy situation, but, you know, we did get death threats. I mean, we had to put surveillance up.
They sent this card with this bag over this German Shepherd's head with a hole in the bag and a snout coming out and a gun down the German Shepherd's mouth, and it said, "You're gonna die, bitch." And that was one of many.
Is there anything you would have done differently?
We're back to that one. That's an impossible question to answer.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
There's
nothing I could have done about how it turned out. It was fate or something. I wouldn't, you know, if I was going to change something, I'd say, let's not do 20 episodes.
That's not my Ren. Not my Ren. No.
Yeah, it's funny when people say, oh, you stole Ren and Stimpy from John Kricfalusi, or the network stole. Well, the network owned the copyright. He didn't bring Ren and Stimpy to us. I picked Ren and Stimpy out of one of his properties. This idea that he brought us a show and, you know, we took advantage of him and took it away, it's just not, it's not true. He didn't pitch us a show called Ren and Stimpy until we developed it with him. And the one thing that he wanted back, like his fight at the end, you know, give me the character George Licker back. I'm like, take it. The last thing we want is that character. It's a horrible character. It's abusive, bully, horrible, insane character.
You know, later I left, so I was just unbridled, left unchecked John.
I mean, there's a reason why there's a difference from the original Ren and Stimpy to Ren and Stimpy Adult Party. It's because he lost a lot of the people that gave those characters heart and feeling and appeal.
After losing the show and losing that expression, and I wasn't there, I lost all contact with him, but I think in real life, you know, that's when his behavior got really bad.